there has been a period of complete lull where we have taken our balance sheets, P&Ls have taken huge losses.
You sell tickets at 500 rupees, 1000 rupees off the shelf. Now, will that man come and watch a film the rest of the month? His quota for film is over.
It was 3-2. For a bigger opening than any film featuring most of our bigger stars today doesn't mean that Rajkumar Rao is a bigger superstar than any of them.
I think it's going to be mayhem with Tarak down south pulling his fan base and Hrithik up north, and then the spy universe itself is a brand.
See, whenever a superstar leaves due to some reason, we think a void will get created, but the audience knows how to create the next superstar.
Ranbir Kapoor is getting a very strong fan following in my belt, especially after Animal. He's in a different league, and I hope to see Varun Dhawan after BabyJohn in that league.
Prabhas, is he the biggest star in the country? You don't know. Because he has Kalki, he has Bahubali, but in between he didn't have any major thing.
The thing which has been making the maximum noise on social media right now is Atlee's collaboration with Salman. I think that's a collaboration which is... Hi guys, this is Himesh and welcome to Pinkvilla. Today we have with us the All India Exhibitors, Akshaye Rathi, Ashutosh Agarwal, Suresh Babu sir, Satadeep Saha and Vishek Chauhan. Welcome to Pinkvilla guys. It's so good to have you all here.
Thank you. Amish.
So I want to start this conversation with a common question for all of you. Now 2024 has been a very different year for the Indian film industry. Whenever there have been releases, they have happened in abundance in a very short period. And if not, it has been a lull period. Like Telugu had releases in Sankranti period and then there was a big gap till Kalki. Hindi, we had Stree 2 releasing in August and then 1.5 months nothing. Same has happened in Tamil as well, where the first major release was actually in September with Goat. Or maybe let's say July with Indian 2, which was a big film. How do you view the planning of release calendar in the Indian film industry which has happened in 24?
See, who decides the release calendar? The stars, directors want their releases for certain festivals. So everybody wants to park a festival because he wants to be safe. There are many small producers who say that don't give the festivals for the big films, give the festivals for the smaller films, so let them also survive.
Yeah.
Now, with the dynamics changing on the size of films, there is a certain fear factor that has got into everybody. There is a certain bad planning that has got into the system, that we are not able to hold our dates and do the films because the fear is because I want my film to become bigger than my previous film and bigger than the competitive's previous film. So in that, we've lost out the whole focus, which will lead to the fundamental problem in the industry. One of the problems in the industry today, that we are not as disciplined as we need to be while making the film itself. That's the main reason.
Right.
And we've also, everyone has seen that the festival is the time where the collections are abundant.
Yeah.
And more people who are not looking at cinema at the rest of the year are only looking at it this period.
Yeah.
So everybody wants to capture that date, and that's why the excess.
Oh.
Just wanted to add to that. I remember two films. These guys were, the producer was not afraid. Bahubali released in a bare period time. Avengers.
Yeah.
They released their movies at a period where it was not good for them.
Yeah.
So-called good for them, but it did phenomenal business.
Enough examples, like the first Bahubali released in the middle of Ramzan, Jawan released on a date that was not a holiday, likewise for Animal, and if you look at it, they've gone on to become some of the biggest blockbusters in the history of cinema.
Correct.
So more than anything else, I think the belief in your own content is what will make producers venture out into periods where they turn the release of that film into a holiday for fans.
Correct. Actually, that was my next question. We have seen so many films which have done well in non-festive period as well. That particularly, in last 1 or 2 years. Why do you think are people still...
I just wanted to add what Ashutosh and Akshay were saying, that this year, I mean, especially coming from talking about my perspective from Bihar, the releases have just not come for us. There has been a period of complete lull where we have taken our balance sheets, P&Ls have taken huge losses. I mean, I was discussing the same with Ashutosh ji also while we were coming here, that we are having periods, we are going from, and this is what we were discussing with Suresh Babu yesterday, that the event to event is happening. That we are getting big films, then the small, the medium budget films have just vanished. They are not coming, and when they are coming 3 or 4 together, what we saw on 15th of August, where the business of Stree just cannibalized all the other 2 films, pushed them out of the market. So I think the production line, the production has gone down definitely. Films are not coming. Producers, I think, are probably in a wait and watch mode. I mean, Suresh Babu and Akshaye can enlighten us on that. But as an exhibitor, I am feeling the pinch. I get periods where I have nothing to play. And we are bringing out old films because there is no new content. And the audience is ready to watch movies, as you can see with the collections. People are going out and watching Tumbad. People are going out and watching Laila Majnu. People are going out and watching Veer Zara. So all these films are being loved because there is a void. And producers need to realize it and start filling it up with productions and films.
Correct. But does it become difficult as an exhibitor to deal with those lulls when you don't have content?
Yes.
Yes, it is very
difficult.
It's
Very difficult. Very difficult.
Unless you see loss as not a difficulty, it's really difficult.
As we have certain cinemas in rent, it is very difficult to sustain.
Correct.
Month by month, if there is no movies releasing, it is very difficult to sustain.
We have a fixed cost. Like rent is there, electricity is there, salaries have to be paid. So these are fixed expenses we have to bear the whole year. So for them, lull period or for them, high period will not matter.
Correct. That's true actually, because we keep discussing about the cinema structure, the ticket prices and everything, but I think there are a lot of expenses that people are not aware about that goes into running a cinema. If since we are talking to the ones who are actually on ground, what are the sort of expenses that you have to bear?
Well, see, I mean, there are the regular overheads, which are, if there's a cost of real estate that you factor in, if you don't own the property, that's generally a big one. The cost of electricity, which differs state to state, but states like Maharashtra have among the highest tariffs, where you actually pay for electricity at commercial rates rather than industrial or subsidized rates. So that's a big one. The cost of manpower, even if you're running a lean operation, there's still a bare minimum number of 8 to 10 people at least that you need on your payrolls, and then many others on contractual basis for the housekeeping and other operations. So those are expenses as well. And then for the upkeep and renovation, right? Of course, in the big movies, you have a good reactive audience that's in there to have a good time. Now, while all of us love that, one unfortunate byproduct of that celebratory experience is the amount of maintenance cost that has to be incurred to keep the furniture, the cleaning, the upkeep of the cinemas intact. So all of those are absolute overheads that come into play. And then many of us exhibitors really try to go the extra mile to really foster the spirit of partnership with the content players that come in and release their films, where we actually try and invest a little into some publicity and marketing at the ground level in the geographies where we operate, which again is more a movie to movie thing.
Correct.
And varies. But all of these are expenses that have to be taken care of. And then of course there's also a working capital cost for procuring the food and beverages and a whole lot more. So it's running a cinema, trust me, is not an easy affair. And then there's another one which is very often not spoken about. In many parts of the country, or rather in most parts of the country, every cinema has to take a license which is renewed either annually or every 3 years from the local authorities, right? The municipal corporation or whatever. And for that license to be procured, you need anywhere between 9 to 14 NOCs from different departments of the city, be it PWD, be it fire, be it the police or whatever else. Now, obviously, to make sure that all the compliances related to all these departments have to be deployed at the cinemas. So, let's say the cost of the fire extinguishing equipment in cinemas. Earlier, it used to be those small fire extinguishers in buckets of water that had to be kept. But as technology has progressed and new guidelines have come in, the kind of equipment that has to be deployed with fire extinguishing pipelines for with smoke alerts and all of that, those cost a lot of money. And every now and then, new regulatory guidelines come in that put us into a spot where we have to update all of those equipments to be able to procure the NOCs from these departments, which allow us to get the license to function.
Yeah.
So all of these are recurring costs that keep coming in every now and then.
But sir, I think you would be the best person to answer this question. What impact does pricing have on the audiences when it comes to consumption of cinema? Because in Hyderabad, in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, the cinema culture is very strong, and that is also because there has been a regulation to keep the pricing in check.
See, definitely the better town that's maintaining pricing control today is Tamil Nadu, where they've kept tickets at an upper limit of 190 rupees.
Yeah.
In Telugu, we have a pricing barrier regularly, but the government is allowing us to increase prices for the star films.
Yeah.
So now, is that good or bad? The big film players want it because that's the only way they feel that they can get out of trouble. But is it good overall? Different viewpoints. You sell tickets at 500 rupees, 1000 rupees off the shelf.
Yeah.
Now, will that man come and watch a film the rest of the month? His quota for film is over.
Yeah.
So we are definitely, so I personally have the feeling that prices should not be high. We are making cinema going very expensive for people.
Yeah.
We've already started noticing it even when they buy their Book My Show or Paytm tickets. They are not buying those tickets on the weekdays. That additional 30-40 rupees is also a burden on the consumer. They also have a feeling that popcorn and other things are expensive in the auditorium.
Yeah.
So coming out, see, finally cinema is an experience. Now, is that experience a viable experience for me? Is it really worthwhile? Or am I being overcharged?
Yeah.
So because I'm finding that it is overcharged, I only want to use it like an event.
Yeah.
Festival time, I will go for a movie.
Yeah.
Big star film, I will go for a movie. Rest of the films, I know we've advertised very well that within 4 weeks or 8 weeks, I'll come on OTT.
Yeah.
Watch it for free. Why go? Why make this effort?
Yeah.
Pay that. So pricing is definitely an issue. There is no doubt about it. Whenever the prices are lower, they're working well. And with this pricing, one set of the audience which wants to watch film is just removed from the exhibition. So earlier we used to have 30 to 40% at the lowest class of people at 20 rupees, 40 rupees. Those guys used to fill the theatre all through the year.
Yeah.
Now we don't want that guy to come in because he's not giving me value. I want only 150 rupee guy.
Yeah.
So we've lost that auditorium.
Yeah.
We've lost the women.
Yeah.
So you have one very small part of the demographic is now available for us to watch. So we have to just play in that space.
Yeah, which is unfortunate.
I just wanted to add to what Suresh Babu is saying, that in terms of pricing, if you look at it, the US is the most, it's like one of the best markets for theatrical, and they have close to 42,000 screens.
Yeah.
And their average ticket price is close to $11. Now, if you convert it into purchasing power parity, $1 to a rupee is 22. And if you do 22 into 11, that comes around to be around about 240 rupees. So the ATP that PVR and Inox are operating at is 260, 270 is what I'm told. So if you look at it in terms of purchasing power, the pricing in India is on the higher side. And we have priced cinema. We are outpricing the common man from the movie theatre. So that's what Suresh Babu is saying. That what we are telling, the message is loud and clear that this is an abode for the rich, the elite. And the common man has stopped coming, or they have cut down their visits to the movie theatre.
Yeah.
And that is really hurting the industry. And that is what happened in the Hindi film industry, where we started supplying content to match that demand from the rich and elite. And that's why Bollywood lost its way this period. And I think prices definitely need to come down so that the masses, the real people can come back to movie theatres and not think twice before venturing out. If you look at it, the 99 rupee pricing that we have, it is so well received.
All shows were
and
full.
People are so happy. They come to me, they tell me, ki, this is so nice, this is so great. Thank you for keeping it at 99 rupees. So, you know that prices need to go down. Now, if you compare it with US, the US has a per capita income of $80,000 approximately. India is $3,000. And we are selling tickets at a higher price than the United States of America. And there lies the conflict. That's why we have only 8,000 screens. US has 40,000 screens and China has more than 80,000 screens. There lies the disconnect. Prices need to come down and come down drastically because the bulk of the population has been grossly ignored by this eliteness, this richness, this extravagance. And to be very honest with you, a common man gets intimidated when he walks into a very, high elite place. He feels kind of scared. Will I be able to afford it? That mental block comes into play. So we need to make cinemas which are affordable. Like earlier on, Ashutosh was telling me that in Agra, we were talking about Agra, Sri Cinema, he was telling me about. They start their pricing from 50 rupees.
50 rupees.
Wow.
They have 5
Even
classes. Even now, they have 5
Even
classes. The first row, first few seats are 50 rupees, then they go up to 300 rupees.
Okay.
And the collections of Sri Cinema in Agra
Is more than the multiplex.
North is better than the multiplexes in Agra.
I hope the multiplex associations and everyone who keeps the high pricing hears this because this is a very interesting
point. This is what I was saying. See, this kind of knowledge has to be dissipated to everybody.
Yes.
See, even as single screen exhibitors, we are all stuck in that mode of not having this kind of information. If you're able to document all the best practices of all the single screens,
correct, sir,
then we'll all be able to come to some solution.
And that is for the betterment of the industry.
No, and Himesh,
then you have more people coming in.
Definitely.
And Himesh, one more thing, that the PVR Inox model, because they are the largest player, it cannot be the default model for India.
Correct.
It can cater to, there is nothing wrong with building luxury cinemas. Please go ahead and build it. There is nothing wrong with making art cinema or art house cinema. But the bread and butter lies in big scale cinema, as what we saw yesterday. The real mass audience does come to the single screens, as what we know. The pricing needs to come down. And it definitely needs to come down. PVR Inox cannot be the default model for the country. The default model has to be low cost movie theaters across India. And there is a huge gap. 8,000, 40,000. The population of America is 34 crores. India 140. And we have only 1/5 of the screens of United States of America.
And we make more films than them.
And we make more films than them. See,
including all languages.
A Stree is doing 600 crores. If we had like proper screens across, we could be looking at 1,500 crores. Who knows?
Right.
So we're really not tapping the market.
Correct. But what do you all have to say about the infrastructural challenges? Because I have been to a lot of single screens where there is issue with the sound, seats, the washrooms are not clean, which alienates a certain section of from any class. I'm not going to middle class, higher class, anyone would. These are the basic necessities. So what are the challenges of having those things right?
See, you are right. You are right in a way that in some of the theaters there are challenges, but definitely those challenges has to be made it clear, and we have to grow the industry as well as we have to grow more better cinemas so that audiences can come to the cinema. And yes, those single screens who are renovating, they are doing good business, and I think that's the way to look forward. And then only the people will come to the cinema.
Correct. And now he spoke about yesterday, you all were screened, the BabyJohn footage was screened. What do you make out of that 5.5 minute footage? What has been the reaction?
We saw it 2 times.
Blockbuster Christmas.
On public demand.
We had them we made them play once again. On public demand, yes.
On public demand.
But trust me, we were wanting it to watch it again.
Really?
Yeah. Definitely.
See, it's come to a stage where, as exhibitors, we want every film to run well.
Yes.
Whether I like that guy or don't like that guy, I
Totally
just wish that they make good films. That's all. We just, our prayer is that everybody makes a good film. Earlier it wasn't like that. Now we just want every film to do well.
But Atlee has now a fan following in the north as well. He was a star in south, but now he's a star all over India. And the confidence he had, the way he said he likes the Getty Galaxy is the best screen in Mumbai. So that gives us confidence that he's made this film for the masses. He's made this film for the single screens. Multiplexes will automatically run. But we have to fill in the single screens first. And this film is for that.
On this, while see, BabyJohn's one example over here, right? What I really appreciate about what happened yesterday is the fact that here's a producer, filmmaker, who has the confidence or the belief in his content or the intent of partnership with exhibitors rather than treating them as vendors. You have so many filmmakers who, you know, while making their film, behave like they are making some rogue nuclear program.
Yeah.
They don't want to, you know, have exhibitors and distributors participate in that process because ultimately it's these guys here who are interacting with the audience day in and day out and have those last mile touch points. So to actually make all of us feel that sense of ownership towards a film, to encourage all of us to really feel like, okay, this belongs to us, let's give it our all and, you know, have that sense of partnership rather than a vendor relation. It's great that Atlee, Murad Bhai and Priya Atlee came forward and said that, okay, 3 months to release, but let's show 5.5 minutes of footage to exhibitors. Let's get them excited.
That shows their confidence.
That shows their confidence and that shows the intent that we're looking at them as partners, not as vendors, right? Whom will just drop the film at last moment and then see what happens.
Correct.
And I can assure you, all these gentlemen sitting out here will feel a sense of ownership towards it after the kind of interaction that we had with Murad Bhai and Atlee. And I wish more filmmakers start doing that because this is something that used to happen back in the day.
It happens in the West also where there are Cine Expos, where Marvel screens there.
At CinemaCon, right? Yeah. And even till recently, filmmakers like Mr. Rakesh Roshan, forget about when the film is ready. After the first schedule, they'd call in their distributors, exhibitors, show them footage, take feedback, basis that even incorporate things. So it literally becomes like a collaborative process through the value chain. So kudos to the filmmakers of BabyJohn and everyone who made this happen. And I hope more filmmakers can come forward and do this.
Correct. I know Murad Bhai very well, and whenever I have also spoken to him, I think he has utmost respect for all the exhibition like the community of exhibitors, because he always speaks highly about how you all know the pulse of the audience. And I think that was one of the main reasons why even this screening happened, for feedback. So
no, I got up, I couldn't contain myself after watching the trailer. I'll be very honest. I got up and I congratulated the team that this is fantastic. I absolutely loved it. And I think this kind of filmmaking is what is missing in the North. And this is what the audience actually loves. You see, cinema, though Indian cinema is what it's called, is like a complete thali. And you need all the ras, all the masala, the papads, everything. Fulfilled. And this is what that cinema is all about. BabyJohn trailer. And I think every section of the audience will connect with it. And that's what theatrical experience is all about. It's about getting everyone under one roof, enjoying, clapping, whistling with the hero, with the protagonist, and enjoying and having a great time. And I think that is what is gone missing from Bombay. We've started making too much segmented cinema. We like making niche cinema. Ye thriller hai, ye comedy hai, ye genre hai, wo genre hai. Pura wholesome chahiye. And that's what BabyJohn is, and that's what we are missing. Like a Jawan comes along and people go berserk. Like we have, like people used to tell me कि 6 a.m. North में नहीं होता, वो South में होता है.
Jawan, I remember you had told me 6 a.m. show and it was houseful at your place.
The people, my distributor told me कि 6 a.m. South में चलता है सर, पूर्णिया बिहार में कौन देखने आएगा? मैं बोला मेरे को दो, and it opened to packed houses. We opened to packed houses with Pathaan. You make that content and you let the people decide. No, you need to that kind of cinema, and BabyJohn belongs in that school. That is hardcore, wholesome Indian cinema is what we enjoyed. I absolutely loved it.
Correct. No, that's true. And sir, you know, this is a question to you. How do you view this collaboration of North and South, which is happening right now? There's a South director who is now making films with North. There are actors from here who are working with South filmmakers. How do you view this entire collaboration which is happening?
See, we are making it big now. It happened.
So before that, Rana has also played a big role in bringing that entire thing together right from Bahubali time. I know how he has interacted with Karan to make things happen, and he has also been over there to, you know, make it happen. So
see, India was always very open.
Yeah.
The first pan-Indian film, whatever we call it, was Chandralekha, a film which released in 50s or something.
Yeah.
Above average film in Tamil Nadu as the original language, dubbed after some time into Hindi, becomes the biggest hit in Hindi.
Yeah.
We always were willing to act, like we had Mohammad Rafi singing in Telugu and we loved his singing.
Yeah.
We had Kishore Kumar singing in Hindi in Ek Duje Ke Liye or Yesudas singing, and people liked it. It is the filmmakers who tried to keep a divide between North and South.
Yeah.
There were Raghvendra Raos and Bapayas and T. Ramaraos who did a bunch of films in Bombay in the 80s. All very, very commercial, plus B, A minus A kind of films. One horde of them. Then Anda Kanuns, all these films were all made by South Indian directors in Bombay. The Bombay heroes accepted it, and they had super hits. Then this gentry audience cinema came, and they felt that the South can't make the gentry audience cinema, which will the American audience, the NRI Indian, we don't know how to handle them. Probably we didn't know, but there was India which wanted this cinema. We couldn't come to the theatres. We came in through the satellite TV. Slowly, some smart guy, some Manish type of guy dubs all these films. Setmax shows that film to the whole of India. This is our entertainment. We get it. They're all waiting. One Rajamouli crafts a nice smart version of one of these old masala films, makes it Bahubali. Hey, this is the film that we have to watch. And then it starts off. Then he gives courage to the others. Then there's a guy he makes it from Kantara, from one small town, not even in Bangalore, somewhere in Mangalore. He has his own film studio, film city, and he makes a film. It goes pan India. Your KGFs, everything, it just starts going across. And also, the COVID period helped us. People started watching what other cinema was. Otherwise, you won't know what a Malayalam cinema is. We all started watching. Then, we just want good entertainment, whether it comes from Kerala or Assam, we want. I'm just waiting for the day Bengal or Assamese, they make a national film which goes all across. Potential is there. Everybody has to think like that. And we'll all make, because we're all Indians finally. We want some emotion. And if that emotion connects, I'll watch it. I don't care whether it's spoken by a Hindi guy or a Telugu guy. Doesn't matter. So it's going to continue, and it's very, very good. And I was happy when Atlee told me yesterday he's living in Bombay. So they're all being part of this world, culture, and they're understanding everything, and they'll all make it. There will be successes and failures. It's not that we'll have all success only. But the thought is on the right direction.
The thing which has been making the maximum noise on social media right now is Atlee's collaboration with Salman. I think that's a collaboration which is...
See, similarly, the Bombay film industry should start dubbing their films and doing it all over India. Even in the Bengali. Everyone should try to see that you can push your film into the other language. Don't expect big money. Small money doesn't matter. But just get people into it. There is interest. It's not that we don't have interest anymore. There are, and with these IT jobs, there are interest. Like in Vijayawada, I run Tamil cinema. I look for one show of a Bengali film if I can. So we want, because the people are all across. So we should start with all that. 2 shows here, 2 shows there. And today it's very easy to shift your prints, so it becomes very useful. Then it'll be better for cinema.
You know, I just want to add something. Like, if you have multiple languages playing in your market, say, when I was reading about the Chinese market, they have 12 languages films playing across China. The southern markets have 5-6 languages they can mix and match with: Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, Hindi, Hollywood, and etc. The problem with us in North is that we are playing around with 2 primarily: the Hindi, then Hollywood, and now over a period of time, the South has started filling once in a while. If we have more languages playing, the ecosystem, the theatrical ecosystem becomes more robust. It starts growing, because then we can hedge around. That if the Tamil industry is not performing, I will get one Telugu blockbuster. If that is not happening, one Malayalam blockbuster comes along. So it keeps that churn going. And as Sir rightly pointed out, during COVID, it really exploded. You know, we started hearing stories about by Arjun Reddy is a film you must watch. Irata is one film you must watch. This film you must watch. And people started enjoying it, lapping it up, and the language barriers went. And I think that was fantastic. One of the greatest help that came to us was from the OTT platforms. They made adoption very easy of different languages and content. And that is helping us today. Like, even a Tumbad doing well. A Tumbad has gained huge credibility due to over the play on the OTT platforms. And now people are saying, ki, boss, let me watch it on the bigger screen, because the sound, the atmos, etc., I will be able to relive it better. So I think it's a great help. And I think this will, going forward, I think it's going to be amazing. And this needs to continue. And pan-India collaboration, one collaboration that I'm really looking forward to is War 2. And I think it's going to be mayhem. With
NTR,
Tarak down south, pulling his fan base, and Hrithik up north. And then the spy universe itself is a brand. I think we are looking at one of the biggest openings ever.
Yeah.
Like ever. The way he has opened Devara, if he can pull in that kind of audience and then the spy universe pulls its own audience
Plus,
in.
Hrithik will also bring in his own.
Exactly. We are and this kind of collaborations are very healthy. I would love to see a Thalapathy and a SRK work together, which they were talking about. I mean, look at the box office. It will be mayhem.
Yeah.
I mean, and the more, the better, sir.
Yeah.
The more, the better. And this is what we need going forward, to scale things up.
Yeah.
And I think it is a beautiful thing. It should continue.
I think we need a Avengers collaboration.
Yeah.
I think it will happen. It's there. It's there.
No, they're there.
Yeah.
And directors need to get more ambitious, not only from north but from south, and they need to start playing around with this.
Yeah.
The whole thing is there. As sir rightly pointed, let's not keep it segmented and in watertight compartment. Let it flow.
Yeah.
Let it flow. Let it cross over. Let it cross pollinate, and you'll see a beautiful theatrical ecosystem growing in your domestic market.
Absolutely. There's no doubt in that. But, going back to the start of the conversation where I think Sir said that we are right now in a phase where we want every film to do well.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Now, in this environment, when there are clashes happening, like in Hindi, there is a big clash happening in Diwali between Singham again and Bhool Bhulaiyaa 3. Both franchisee film, and I think this is among the biggest clashes that we are going to witness. Yeah. What, as an exhibitor, what's your take on clash?
As an exhibitor, we don't want any clashes throughout the year.
Yeah.
It should be one movie at a time because there are lots of weeks where there is no movies. And for us, those weeks are very painful for us to sustain. So one could have come during this Dussehra period. It would have been easier for us. And one could have easily come during the Diwali period.
Yes.
It would have been easily segregated.
Actually, this is one thought. In Andhra, we don't mind clashes.
Yeah.
Because what happens when clashes happen, discussion about cinema is much more. So people talk about cinema. You need to make that the topic in the house.
Yeah.
See, we don't have mind space of people.
Yeah.
So Pongal time, Ajith is fighting, Vijay is doing this, that, NTR, Balakrishna, Venkatesh, who's going to come, this theatre is available, that theatre is not available. So everybody's mind is about films, even people who are not, you'll become front page news, you'll become this.
Yeah.
We have to be on the minds of people.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter because we've seen both films run well.
Yeah.
There might be a small damage here and there. If you're able to make cinema the conversation piece, then it's very good. That's why the fan base in Andhra is much more than the others. So Devara releases, Bunny fans want this. Everybody is, it has to become your daily talk. You have to keep that. You have to have associations. It's not that you're looking at it as a film and then you go and sleep.
Yeah.
We want that conversation to go on, their lifestyles to go on. You have to extend it beyond.
Yeah, correct.
So that's how we are looking at it. So if it comes, it comes. It doesn't matter. We'll live with it.
We'll go ahead.
We'll live with it.
Yeah. There's also more to it than just that, right? If you look at Bhool Bhulaiyaa 3 and Singham 3, both of them are absolute mass entertainers which potentially can cannibalize into each other's audiences.
Yeah.
An ideal scenario for a clash is what happened, let's say, for Welcome in Tare Zameen Par.
Or Animal and Sam Bahadur.
Animal and Sam Bahadur. Yeah. Or Gadar and Oh My God 2. Gadar 2 and Oh My God 2. Where these are two films that cater to very different audience bases and both can coexist fabulously together. Yeah. Bringing in more diversity of audiences into the theatres simultaneously. Yeah. So that's one thing. The second thing that needs to happen is even if there are clashes of two tentpoles happening together, there's a very unhealthy practice where almost till one night before the release, there's haggling over showcasing that's happening between distributors and exhibitors and all of that. And that results in a scenario where for many of these tentpoles, you can't even open advance bookings till one night before the release.
I remember this happened during Golmaal again and Secret
Multiple
Superstar,
instances.
I think so.
Multiple instances. Now, the unfortunate thing is, God forbid, with zero advance bookings, one of the movie turns out to be underwhelming. All the potential business that could have happened with the hype and advance bookings is also lost out.
Yeah.
So in these sort of scenarios, nobody really benefits. And rather than, two distributors haggling it out with exhibitors, the most logical and seamless thing is for the two producers or distributors to sit together and decide, okay, these are the cinemas in this circuit. Let's divide the shows in this manner.
Yeah.
The other silly thing that a lot of people do is try and divide screens. Okay, this theatre X movie, this theatre Y movie.
Yeah.
Now, for the theatres, it's important to play all of these tentpole films because some will work, some will not. God forbid if a theatre gets X movie and that doesn't do well, and the other movie that's releasing on the same day is doing well, they lose out on the entire business of that film. So these are things that we need to be a lot more careful about and become more pragmatic about as an industry.
I would like to add to what Akshay was saying, that we've already had a clash this year on 15th of August, and the results were not so conducive as what they were expected by the producers. The two films greatly suffered and one film ran away with it. Last year also, the same period, we had Gadar and Oh My God, which did well. Oh My God complemented it well, it did well. The counter programming, if it's like that the two films are completely chalk and cheese, I think it works well. It works in the film's favor because you have two different sets of audience playing with that, and it works out well. And 150 crores was probably what Oh My God did, and Gadar just ran away with the mask. But the problem with the Diwali releases, I think, both are so wide. And both are such amazing franchises that as an exhibitor, I've got greedy. And I don't want them to get compromised, because if either of them doesn't perform, we are going to lose out on one of the franchises which is not good for the industry. So I personally believe that such big franchises, because Bhool Bhulaiyaa today is a huge franchise. And the cop universe, it just exploded in Diwali. It did around about 200 crores
in
when
pandemic,
it came, in the pandemic with 50% cap. And it kind of revived the Hindi industry where everybody had lost hope. I was hopeless. Hindi film industry, what is happening? Numbers are not coming. But Suryavanshi came and it just blew the lid.
And I think Rohit also was very, it was a brave decision of Rohit to also hold on to the film when everyone was selling off their content on digital at that point of time.
Yes. And the other thing is, Himesh, I mean, I might be wrong here, but Diwali has never given us a lifetime grosser. Which we discussed before also. And I don't think that risking two big franchises on a Diwali where you don't have a history for all-time grossers, I think it is not really in the larger interests of the exhibition theatrical space. I think producers should refrain, but if they are coming, then definitely I hope they reach a consensus. Because with single screens,
it's very difficult.
I mean, last time when Suryavanshi came, you know what happened. So this happens that a lot of times we are told this or that. Either this or that. And as an exhibitor, you really feel sad when this kind of situation happens, that we want to play both the films. Because our audience is there. If I don't play one film, I am losing out on a huge section of the audience, which will migrate to some other theatre or some other place, which my revenue loss and my audience loss permanently. I don't want that to happen. So if you're releasing, then please try and coexist. That's the thing. Ideally, you should not. On a Diwali, you should not. Two big franchises. But if you are coming, please try and coexist and let single screens play both the films. My request.
This is what I'm saying. If all of us sit together and say these are practices,
very important.
Definitely.
So these are things that we all have to put on the plate and say this is how single screens will operate.
There are actually not many studio houses, 4 or 5 big studio houses who are doing that. So they can always keep their egos apart. They can always make a plan, you know, a kind of a formula, like a 60-40 kind of a formula, where they can share the showcasing. And let all the single screens play all the films.
They can decide the showcasing also by themselves. Sitting together and deciding.
No, we should say, if both of you going to come, on the pricing of the film, 60, 40, 55, 50,
whatever
40.
I can give you an example.
That's all.
I can give you an example of Gadar and Lagan. Lagan was a longer movie. And there also, the time it was, I remember that at that time, show sharing was not the case. But then there was a screen sharing thing, which happened. And both movies did very well. Both were super hits.
You know, once these clashes happen, the showcasing goes to the wire. So like a Friday before release, at Thursday you are clueless. How are you going to play it? What is going to be the showcasing? And you end up opening advances very late. That kind of really kills the, momentum, etc. that you need to expect. Ideally, for big films, advances should open on a Saturday, Sunday. So that the audience can also plan accordingly. But here it goes down to the wire. So I just hope all these issues are sorted out much before time. I hope it doesn't go to the wire. Suryavanshi, I opened advances at 1 in the morning. 1 in the morning. And that was not very conducive. I don't want to be in that kind of a situation. I think nobody wants to be in that kind of a situation. We look forward to Diwali. We've always looked forward to Diwali. all these festivals we look forward to. Big films, Bhool Bhulaiyaa and Singham. I would like to open advances early.
Yeah.
I hope showcasing gets cleared and we all live happily ever after. That's why I wish.
I hope so too. My next question is about the Tamil film industry. There are three pillars who have always assured a certain kind of opening. That is Vijay, Rajni sir and Ajith. Whatever they do, the film does a certain number on the opening day consistently. Now, we hear Vijay is planning to take a break for his political career. Ajith is shifting his focus slowly to the sports. He just announced that he wants to focus on racing as well. So he'll be doing films, but alongside racing. And there are only certain number of films that Rajni sir can do. In such a scenario, how do you view the future of Tamil film industry as a...
See, whenever a superstar leaves due to some reason, we think a void will get created, but the audience knows how to create the next superstar.
Yeah.
They will happen.
Yeah.
So I've seen this. If SP Balasubramaniam dies, what will happen to music? If somebody dies, nothing will happen. NT Ramarao left, somebody came up.
Yeah.
So they'll make some local star a superstar, or some other star from another language will become a superstar. Pan-Indian film will become a superstar. Yeah. Definitely it's sad that they're going at this, if they're going all at the same time. But we don't have to be overly worried about that.
Yeah.
See, that way Telugu has done quite well, that we have kept many heroes alive. We have a top 6, then the next 6.
Yeah.
So many are able to create those 100 crores. And I'm sure it will happen in Chennai also. I'm not so worried about it.
Yeah. Right.
There'll be a better playing field. Maybe 4 films will come for festival and all of them will start doing 50 crores instead of doing 150 crores. All these things will happen.
Right. And so Devara released recently. How has the film fared?
It opened very well.
Yeah.
Very, very well. So it will sail through.
It will sail through basically.
In Andhra, it will sail through.
Yeah.
I just want to add to what Suresh Babu is saying, that in the 40s, 50s, the Hollywood studios used to keep their stars on their salary basis. It used to happen in India also. Stars used to get a salary. That gradually, then the Disney model came into play. That IP, intellectual property will rule the roost. So your industry is either IP driven or star driven.
Yeah.
So when stars go away, IPs take over. What is 3? It's an intellectual property.
Yeah.
So, and it is your highest grosser in your Hindi belt today.
Yeah.
So if that goes, as sir rightly pointed out, the audience knows better.
Yeah.
They will create their own stars. The audience creates stars and intellectual properties. And that will happen. It's an organic process.
Yeah.
So either stars or intellectual properties. So if these 3 stalwarts stop doing films, then you probably see intellectual properties coming out.
Correct.
Part 2, Part 3, universe, the LCU taking shape, new guys joining the LCU, and the numbers probably increasing. So I think the audience is what creates intellectual properties, stars, brands, theatrical brands, what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I think it's an organic process. It will keep going. The industry is going nowhere.
Correct. Now, there's a question which I think everyone can answer individually. Who is the biggest crowd puller in your respective region? We can start with Akshay.
Sure. Well, see, it's a very fluid situation, right? Where all of us thought that Shah Rukh Khan, Salman Khan, Agar Khan are the biggest crowd pullers, followed by the next generation where we had a Varun Dhawan, Ranbir Kapoor, all of that. Ajay Devgan, Akshay Kumar. But this is actually a very strange time where literally no star can guarantee an opening beyond a point.
Yeah.
Mr. Ajay Devgan, right? One of the most credible stars out there.
Yeah.
In the same year, he has a movie that goes on to become one of the biggest hits of his career.
Yeah.
And in the same year, he has a movie that becomes his lowest grosser in some 15 years.
Yeah.
Now, this is something that proves that, okay, the stars are the propellers, but beyond the point, it will always be the content in the promos of a film that become the crowd puller.
Yeah.
The fact that a Stree 2 got a bigger opening than any film featuring most of our bigger stars today doesn't mean that Rajkumar Rao is a bigger superstar than any of them.
Yeah.
It's not the case, right? It's really the content. But if I have to, if you put a gun to my head and ask me for names, then yes, in the generation gone by among the masses in central India, it's Salman Khan. And in the future, I think the big superstar who is really going to rule the roost for a while is going to be Ranbir Kapoor.
Ashutosh ji?
I think for me, the star is Rajamouli sir. Sanjay Leela Bhansali and Vanga Reddy.
Well
I
said.
think they are the stars. Any particular hero, but their movies are going to take a flying start.
Okay, the three directors basically.
Considering the fact that Suresh Babu has made a film with S.S. Rajamouli with a fly
Fly.
being so definitely, I think, hence
No.
proved.
See, it's a mix always. Independent stars have phenomenal pull.
Yeah.
A director without a star doesn't have the same pull that a star has
Without the director.
without a
Yeah.
thing. But independent star with a seriously brilliant director probably will get bigger. In
Yeah.
Telugu, Pawan Kalyan independently might have the best opening.
Yeah.
Prabhas will have a phenomenal opening. Bunny will have an opening. All of them are capable.
Yeah.
Again, the kind of film also. And the kind of combination. And then one super hit song will align
It
with
always helps. Yeah.
And then the season that they're opening.
Yeah.
You open in January 14th, you have a super opening.
Yeah.
So all these things are there. But Prabhas, is he the biggest star in the country? You don't know. Because he has Kalki, he has Bahubali, but in between he didn't have any major things. And it is good to have these conversations. Is Ajith bigger? Is Vijay bigger? Is Rajinikanth bigger? So that discussion goes on.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to pinpoint and say this is the biggest.
Yeah.
See, in Andhra, we'll say Pawan Kalyan has the biggest following.
Yeah.
Now, Pawan Kalyan comes with some small directors. Also, he has a big opening.
Yeah.
If he comes with a bigger director, we don't know what will happen.
Yeah, it would be.
We don't know.
Yeah,
See,
hopefully OG is
And
that,
if you do a film which is not what audience wants and he does something like his Johnny or something, then they don't want it also. So, let the conversations be on. Let people discuss stars and directors. Then it'll all be good.
Absolutely. Satadeep, for you, I know, in your territory, it's Shah Rukh Khan 1 to 10, but still I want to hear from you.
No, in our territory, in Bengal, I feel content is the main thing. And over the years, the content making has changed. So initially we were into mass and everything. Right now we are based on multiplex audiences.
Yeah.
So the content is the main thing. But we have 3 stars over there like Dev, Jeet and Proshenjit.
Yeah.
Still we rely on. But still I would thank Mithun Chakravarti da because of his last movie which he released called Projapati. It was a blockbuster in Bengal. So absolutely the content is the main thing in Bengal right now.
And Vishek, your territory runs on stardom, so I wouldn't expect a politically correct answer
I'm not going to be
from
diplomatic.
you.
I'll be very honest to the best of my ability. Salman Khan, the kind of cinema he did as opposed to everyone else around him over this last decade.
Yeah.
Because I think Salman was the lone ranger who was doing this mass commercial cinema where everyone else was trying to do this elite gentry kind of cinema, as Suresh Babu rightly pointed out, and Salman stayed away from it.
Yeah.
He dabbled with it with Bajrangi and Tubelight, but then he pushed back and he came back. So Salman has a huge following in Bihar.
Yeah.
Shah Rukh, I think, got waylaid in that period where his films didn't perform, especially the last few films, Zero, Fan, etc. But I think the reinvention of Shah Rukh Khan with Pathaan,
outstanding,
tremendous. And I think Shah Rukh is back in the groove. Ajay Devgan, Akshay Kumar and Hrithik Roshan, whenever they do come with the right content, I think Suryavanshi took a mind-blowing start across Bihar in that period. So whenever, and Rowdy Rathod, I remember Akshay with Rowdy Rathod, Ajay Devgan with Singham, and Hrithik with his Krish.
Yeah.
Whenever these guys come with the right film, they just blow the lid off.
Yeah.
And it's just that they compromise that star. Whenever that star is compromised, and when they start playing characters, that the audience kind of shies away, the mass audience, because they want the full paisa vasool, you know. I want to see complete Akshay Kumar. तो मुझे पूरा पैकेज चाहिए. जब पैकेज पूरा नहीं मिलता तो ऑडियंस भी उसी हिसाब से आती है. So you know, and when Ajay Devgan comes in full flow, oh, there is no stopping that Singham. And then same with Hrithik. And I think so Salman, Shah Rukh, Ajay Devgan, Akshay Kumar, Hrithik Roshan, these are the guys who are the main pullers of the new generation now. Ranbir Kapoor is getting a very strong fan following in my belt. Especially after Animal, he's in a different league.
Yeah.
And I hope to see Varun Dhawan after BabyJohn in that league.
You're very bullish on
Ranbir Kapoor was made Ranbir Kapoor because of Sandeep Vanga Reddy.
Yeah.
The Animal was totally his thing.
Yeah, yes. Absolutely. And we have one last question because I think we are running out of time. So, Sir, Pushpa 2 is the most awaited film of Indian cinema at this point of time. How do you view Pushpa 2, the phenomenon, the entire curiosity around that film?
See, See, the first film did the marketing for this film.
Yeah.
So, and like we said, all of us want it to become a big hit.
Yeah.
More than anything else.
Yeah.
There is a, and they put some step, and that step is also
Yeah.
now growing very well. So that hope is there.
Yeah.
It's not only for Pushpa. To me, when Kantara comes up, when all these part 2s come, there is a collective consciousness of wanting that super hit.
Yeah.
So naturally, it's going to pull.
Yeah.
I'm not so worried about all these things. They'll happen.
Correct.
At the same time, if we do a wrong film, our audience will reject them also as quickly. Like we were talking, as exhibitors, we want the actors to do a certain thing.
Yeah.
But the actor, he's also an individual.
Yeah.
It is not satisfying for him.
Yeah.
Am I an object that has to just act for the gallery?
Yeah.
Or I want to satisfy my creative urges.
Yeah.
So that's when they go into this spin and try to do different things.
Yeah.
So for them, they want to improve cinema, they want to improve the taste of people. So because I'm seeing them from both sides.
Yeah.
So they also get, how long do I do this mass only?
Yeah.
I should do something which is more meaningful.
Correct.
I want to attach something.
Correct.
He's also a human being, no?
Yeah.
He also has to express himself in his own way.
Correct.
Exactly.
We want full house, full collection. We want only to do that.
Correct.
So guys who stuck like that, like Vijay will not move. He will only do that. So that's why.
Yeah.
He is. So others have their own thing. So we have to give some part to them also.
Correct.
At that time, you don't charge the premium that you want.
Yeah.
Yes.
You don't do that. That's important.
That's true.
Expectations should also be
there. I'm doing this for
adjusted.
this.
Yeah.
So that's it. They're also humans. They also have their own. See, even directors, when they see some film, I wish I can direct a film like that, but my mass audience will not let me direct.
Correct.
So they're also human beings. They also have their own
Mindset. Yeah.
I think
You just get
just
bored
to
of doing the same
conclude
thing.
that, I'll say it's very simply. You want to give a social message, a political message, educate the audience, tweet, post on Instagram, call a press conference. You want to come to the theatres, entertain. Simple.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's like this. See, Vishwanath made Shankarabharanam. He loves music. He wanted to talk about music all through his life.
Yeah.
The 5, 7, 10 films that he made, all classics, he made it, and that's why the art stayed. There are people like that who want to tell those stories, and they know how to make it viable also. They know how to make it phenomenally successful also.
Yeah.
So we as producers, we as directors, we want to tell those stories.
Yeah.
So we should let them also tell.
Correct.
It's like Lagan is there. Now you take Tare Zameen.
Yeah.
Should we not make those films?
Of course we should.
We have to do it, and they will do a lot of business. And that's when the whole variety stays. It might not play in a B and C center, but it will collect value, no? Otherwise, it will become so one-sided that we lose the whole thing.
Yeah.
Now, Christopher Nolan is there. He makes Oppenheimer in his style.
Yeah.
On the same day, you have Barbie. Barbie might collect more than this film, but this
Correct.
film will be remembered.
This will be
Correct.
See, this is an art form that needs to continue, not just at one banal level.
Correct. And before we wrap up, a very quick answer from each one of you. There are 6 Indian films which are now keenly awaited. You have to pick one which you are most excited about. I'll take the names. Pushpa 2, War 2, Pathaan 2, Border 2, Spirit, and Salman X Atlee.
All of them. Without a doubt, we are looking forward to all of them.
All of them.
As an
And
exhibitor,
all are
yes.
going to be huge hits.
Yes.
That's what we really want. All of them blockbusters. Are looking forward to each one of them. Can't pick one. All of them.
We want all to be super blockbusters.
But these are 6 of the biggest films. You all.
Yes.
My only request,
No, you've not
release
added
them
the one
fast.
which is going to start. Rajmouli
Oh,
Mahesh
that,
Babu.
of course, that is.
That is beyond that.
That is beyond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
26.
That's like the
Rajmouli
most.
sir is like
Beyond.
that.
Yeah. He's in a different league
Different league.
altogether.
And Mahesh Babu.
Of
With
course.
Mahesh Babu.
Yeah.
So
That's going to be a global film.
That's a global film.
Yeah.
Correct.
Perfect. On that note, thank you so much.
Thank
It was
you.
lovely
Thank
speaking
you.
to all of you.
Pleasure.
And I hope you all had a good time with this conversation.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you.
Thanks for having
Thank
us.
you.
Thank you.
thank you.